My Love of Life Energy is a podcast created by Anna Scott. Anna knows that every human being sees life uniquely. In this podcast, she will talk to people and learn from them. These conversations are to shine the brilliance of each human being she speaks to. Join her. After each exploration, you will expand on your insights and see truth and beauty.
Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to my podcast, My Love of Life Energy. And this is an interview in my special series in the stories from the Muses. And today I have the honor of having Lucy Scheffield with me. And Lucy is one of the writers in the book. And it's so great to see you again, because we were in class at one point together.
Yes, we were. It's lovely to see you too, Anna. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think we were in like level 2 or something like that. So if you knew, the Jules Swales has very different levels. Yeah.
Yes.
It
was good.
Anyway, so it's so great to see you again.
Yes, you too as well. And it was nice when we had our launch party the other day as well to be able to reconnect on there as well. It's awesome.
Yeah. So I always like to ask, what were the Muses for you?
Oh, what a question. Straight in there. You know what? I really, really enjoyed the Muses. I hear a lot of other students and stuff say that they struggled and it took them like to depths that they've never been before. And definitely that happened for me in my writing. My writing changed like night and day since I did the Muses. But I really, really enjoyed it, and I loved connecting to that energy. I remember when I first started the Muses, and I would write a piece or two, and I was like, I don't know what this is. This isn't working. And then I would write, say, my third piece or something, and suddenly I was like, oh, this is it. And I have no other words other than I could feel it. I could literally feel the energy coming through me and going onto the page. And I just thought, this is what Jules is talking about when she says muse energy. So I know that made complete sense to me then. I'm a lot about feeling and trusting my feelings. And when those feelings were coming up for me, every week when I did it, the piece, like I knew I'd hit the spot. I could just feel it in each piece. It was bizarre. Like it was such a level of trust that I've never experienced before. So yeah, if that makes any sense to you, it was.
It makes so much sense. It actually, you said something that really touched me. You said, I trust the feelings that came up in me.
Yeah.
And can you say more about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole lifelong journey in a way to talk about that. But something in me, within my writing journey and my personal life journey in the last sort of couple of years since I quit my heavy drinking, and the writing came at the same sort of time, as I began to explore more of me, in my personal life and through writing, it's like one and the same thing. The two things were happening together. There's something inside of me that.
Oh no,
Sorry.
Say that again. We cut out for a second.
Oh, sorry. So through that whole like personal journey and through beginning the writing, there was something in me that started to open up towards realizing that we can trust ourselves and that what our feelings are telling us are I don't know how to explain it, Anna. It just feels like.
No, you're saying it beautifully. Keep going, because you're saying it beautifully. Lucy, like what you're pointing to is so powerful.
It is, and it's that's what the muse energy really opened up for me. There was so much connection and trust in the core of me, if you like, and even beyond the core of me, like the whole goddamn universe. It felt like was exploding through me and really, really speaking to me. And even to this day, like, as we've obviously been launching the book in the last few weeks and getting into our pieces and stuff like that, I've been reading back over my pieces and I am like, oh my God, who wrote that? Like, I didn't write that. I feel so, I did obviously, and I own that, but there is definitely an energy that overtook me and wrote that through me. Like, I am so certain of that. And I trust in that so much. And I feel that so deeply within me that I have no doubt that that's what happened, which is mind blowing in itself, really.
There's such, I'm holding my heart because I can feel how much you're trusting yourself or trusting this energy.
Yeah, definitely.
And you said your writing, the other thing that really caught my attention, you said your writing's really changed since you did the Muses. And I'm curious how.
So I think that when I used to write before, and I touched upon this a little bit on the launch party the other night, as a children's author, I would write and I can make things up and just completely use my imagination. Whereas when we started in Jules's class and began the method writing, even from the beginning, there was a level of having to open myself up and be honest and be vulnerable on the page. And as we went through the levels, that just got more and more and more like, I don't know, I guess to the stage of like, oh, well, this is it. Here's me. I can't hide anymore. And that's been my whole journey from quitting the drink anyway. So the writing coming along at that time was like, it just looked so compelling to me that I was meant to open up and be vulnerable and share in the way that I do. And the Muses kind of just took me to a new whole depth around that. It was like, okay, there's no holding back now. Here we go. Sharing some of the like most personal things ever that feel scary to share and write down on the page. But it's also like that trust is still there underneath that. And I'm still like, in a way, so what? Just share it. Just share it. It's fine. You're safe in this vulnerability. You're safe to do that, Lou. And I kind of talk to myself in that way and allow that to come through me and allow it to be seen and to be heard, I guess.
Can I ask you a personal question about the drinking?
Yes, you can, yeah.
I'm curious. I'm really curious, and I really mean this in a wholehearted curiosity. What have you seen about what the drinking was doing, and what have you seen now that you've done the Muses that drinking doesn't make sense? Now that you have this new trust in yourself, because it doesn't seem to make sense for you anymore.
No, it doesn't. The way that I can explain it is that for the 24 years, I think it was, that I was basically drinking and hiding behind the drink, was I had it set up that my starting point was I'm not good enough, just as me. So any time that I was in a social situation or I felt anxious or I felt nervous, all sorts of it, like pretty much everything in life, when I felt scared of whatever situation I was in, I would use the drink to be like, okay, I can relax if I have a drink and I can feel confident and I can say what I really think. And those were the like main things that the drink did for me, or it seemed like they did for me. And then when I kind of came across the principles, it's about 11 years, I think now, one of the things I wanted to do was stop my drinking, because I knew it wasn't healthy and I wasn't showing up as a good person, and it just wasn't good for me in many ways. But I spent about 8 years in the principles and understanding myself and getting a good grounding, and I couldn't understand how to still not live with the drink. It looked like something separate to me, and I was hiding with the whole like, that's okay, I'm okay, like because I know, I understand myself more, the drinking's okay. And I was kidding myself for a lot of years. And then something hit me just over 2 years ago, where it was kind of like, I just saw that I'd come so far and so many things had fallen away for me, that the drinking was this next step, and I was ready for it, and I hadn't been ready for it before. And it felt like I did a lot of groundwork to get to the place where I was suddenly like, okay, I don't need you anymore, I've got this. And my starting point, I started to see that I was good enough. And scary as fuck, if I'm allowed to say that word. But I began to develop a healthy relationship with myself. And I do have a drink now as well, like just at about, I did 18 months completely sober, and then I have a drink now. And it's really interesting, Anna, because I'm very much like, I have a drink because I like the taste of it, and I usually have one and it takes me like all night to drink it. And I'm kind of like, I've chosen to have that drink and I don't want any more, and I don't feel how I did before. I don't feel like, I know why I'm having a drink, and I'm not doing it to feel any different, if that makes sense. And yeah, so it's night and day different for me, that I trust myself now, and I don't need something outside of me to cope in life.
My mind, Lucy, like my wish is for people to hear this, because what I feel so strong in you is how clear you know that you're okay.
Yes.
And that you can trust yourself and the choices you make.
Yeah, very much so. I wobble sometimes, don't get me wrong, but I have never felt so clear and grounded, and the element of trust in me, that I've never felt it like this before, since my eyes were opened from like the drink going, if you like. It opened up my world, and it was very much like, oh, here I am. You know,
I'm curious. I want to know how, because we looked at your artwork. So you're a painter, or you write children's books, and I'm curious how doing the Muse energy impacted your art. If it did.
Yeah, I don't know. It was interesting because on the launch party the other night, I think it was it Renault that was talking about, because she created the artwork for it, and saying about how somebody said, maybe it wasn't Renault, somebody said about painting from the Muse energy.
It was Dell. Yeah, Dell did. She was talking about that it would be a good idea.
Yeah, and when she said that, my sister was on the party as well, and she was like, oh my God, Lou, I love that. And I was like, me too, I've never done that. So I don't know if I've ever done that. I think I probably have without realizing. And it was interesting when you were talking about my art, when I showed you a few pieces before we started the interview, and how you said it was, what was your words? Like it was soft, maybe? I don't know.
There's a softness to it. There's a soft beauty to it. I don't know if that's the word, but when I look at it, but it's almost, what's really interesting, really what it's like is very childlike to me, in the sense of it has a quality of freedom, of wonder and beauty in it.
And so for me, and the two go hand in hand, I think, once I started the writing and the drink was gone and this Lou was opening up to the world, as I took those steps and I got to the Muse levels, from then on, like my journey has been around exploring and freedom and fun in a very different way, in a very softer, light-hearted way. Like, I've always been the kind of person that was sort of confident, but maybe too confident and cocky, and would stamp all over people. And I'm still fairly confident and clear in myself, and I do what I do, but I do it with a lot more, like, a lot softer and a lot gentler these days, because I don't know, that's what's happened for me with this level of trust and whatever's gone on for me with my insights and stuff around everything.
But it's so funny how the thing that Jules does, or in her method writing class, or what I see, is every human being, you just begin to see their voice and their nature.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like, I just see your children's books. I'm dying to know about your children's books, because it's like we think we can't see this energy flowing through us, but it's flowing through us all the time.
Yeah, very much. It is. Definitely.
Do you still write children's books?
So I wrote the first one and published it. Where are we? It's nearly 2 years. It'll be 2 years in the summer since that's been published. And then I had a plan of writing like 4 more in the series. And I've almost written the second one. But I put it down about a year ago, just through, like, I don't know, losing interest, or being like, okay, I'm not ready to do this right now. So it's pretty much written, and I haven't, because life is taking me on a different direction. I've really been into my art business and building that up, and I've not got back into writing my second one at the moment. But at some point, you never know, when I feel in the right mood for it, I hope to finish it and get it published, and then see what happens with the rest of them. But yeah,
I'm curious, because the feeling of your artwork, that was it. It's a playful child's, like a sweetness. I think that's the word I use. There's a sweetness in it. Yeah. And I wonder if that's the energy that just wants to be expressed through you, no matter what it is.
Yeah, that's true. I like that. It definitely does, like, for a lot of years with the drinking and with everything, I was holding myself in a, like, I need to be cool, I need to be this, I need to be that. And I know since that's all left me, there is this whole, actually, Lou, you're just a really sweet, soft, kind-hearted person with a lot of love to give, and like, it's coming out now, and it's like, I'm not scared so much. So.
Oh my God, I just love that.
I've got tears.
Oh my gosh. I do too. But to feel that, like what I love just in this moment right now is that we both see it. Like, the energy can't hide.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I see and is what you're expressing is what I clearly see.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how it comes through everything.
It does. It really does. I loved what you said about that sweetness in me wanting to show up and express, like, creatively in whatever form that is, that's making sense to me, I guess. And I love, like, one of my things at the moment is to just follow my creative nudges every time they show up, whatever that may be. So that could be the writing, that could be the art, it could be my new business Monopoly that I created a game of the other day.
What did you create?
I could show you, it's on the board over there, but I decided that I need a little jig in my business. I was feeling a bit flat. And I was talking to my sister, and we were on about Monopoly, the game of Monopoly. And, like, I'm pretty good at that. I'm pretty good at playing Monopoly. And she was like, why don't you do that in your business? Why don't you create a Monopoly board? Well, we were sort of talking about it. And you could roll the dice every week and go around and see what you want to sell and see what you're going to do. And all that stuff. So
Oh,
I've got this like business monthly board, and I did a live on it the other day, and I put it in my art group, and everyone was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So I'm going to roll the dice every week, and I'm going to see, like, there's things like getting new members in my group. There's like asking my group questions. There's like chance cards, which I'm going to do things like give a portion of my money to charity, things like that. There's prints at my Etsy store, and just all sorts of stuff that I could land on. I could go for a bike ride.
I got to tell you, Lucy, I am, again, this is what I see is your creative, playful spirit.
Yeah.
It's just so alive in you.
It is, I know. It's great, isn't it?
Oh my God. Well, it's contagious.
Yes, it is. Good. I'm glad.
Well, what's your business? I don't know that. I apologize, but I don't know that.
Fine. It's my art, Lucy Scheffield art. Like, I have my, that's what I do most of the time. I paint, and I have an Etsy store, and I have a website. I sell cushions and commissions and originals and all sorts of things.
I just want to let you know there's so many artists who are out there. Mm-hmm. Like, we begin to take it seriously.
Yes.
And I just hear you've gone the other road with it.
Yeah, I'm very playful with it. That's why I love my abstract as well, because it gives me the freedom and to play around. And you know, it's quite fascinating because when I start my paintings, I am literally like a child. I have 2 paintbrushes, and I just scribble all over the blank canvas with whatever colours I want, and then that happens.
Oh, it's stunning.
Thank you.
What is it about? What do you see about play?
I think that most of us take life way too seriously, and we think that it's all on our shoulders, and we take on way too much responsibility for things that aren't ours to be responsible for. And that when we can begin to trust in ourselves and our own feelings, that life has our back, and we are free to play and explore just like kids, just like and I'm only just kind of experiencing this now. I think, like, I'm really experiencing this now. It's been something I've been aware of, but I'm really experiencing it now over the last year or two, you know. Yeah, we play around a lot here. So I live with my auntie and my sister, and they both have an online business as well. Pretty much they teach the principles in one way or another. But my sister and I and my auntie, we talk a lot about manifesting, and we jump around a lot, getting excited when we make sales and when people sign up to our things. And you know, we're very, very, very playful. And we have a blast. And somehow we make money, and somehow we eat, and somehow we live in an incredibly beautiful place here in North Devon, and we have a lot of fun.
It emanates through you. I mean, it just this thing of fun, it is playing, it's exploring, it's just seeing without to me, what I saw, and I don't know if you see this, I'm curious, like when I play, I just see what happens rather than having an attachment to making something happen.
Absolutely. And that's where my best art comes, and that's where my best writing comes as well. Like, well, anything really, but you know, I saw myself do that with the music. There was something in me when I said, like, I would write a couple of pieces and be like, what? And then when I hit that piece, I would feel it. And I know there was an energy that was a letting go and a playfulness around that as well. It was like, oh, this isn't on me. Like, I can just sit back, relax, explore, and enjoy the ride and see what comes. And near enough all of my artwork that ends up being really good or, fairly good or whatever, it starts that way. It's like, you know what, I am just going to go out and I'm just going to get the colors out and I'm just going to see what happens. And
so this is it. This is so I'm just learning this. So this conversation is like such a gift to me right now, Lucy, because I'm just beginning really to see this.
Me too.
I think I did it unconsciously with the Muses, but I just was conscious about exploring. I'm doing wild right now, and I didn't know what wild was, so I explored it. Like I wrote a bunch of pieces from what I thought wild was.
Yeah.
But to explore, I went on a journey and didn't know and had to just keep seeing things.
Yes.
And then does this make sense to your exploring?
Yeah, totally it does. It is that, like you said earlier, with no attachment to the outcome. And I know when I first started doing the Jack Grapes with Jules, and there's something in the book that says about the golfing thing where it's all about practicing the swing and not trying to hit the ball and make it go somewhere. And that just made so much sense to me when I first heard that in Jack Grapes. And ever since then, I think that's what I do with my art. That's what I do with my writing, as best I can when my thought doesn't get in the way, but most of the time it's like, right, remember, this is about the process. The outcome is not on you. And I think we get so easily tied into that as humans because we think we're the ones that are responsible and we've got to make it turn out how it should. And the more we can let go of that and literally just enjoy what we're doing like children and be playful with it, the better the outcome tends to be usually. And if not, so what? You've had a shitload of fun anyway.
I think that is, and it's I love the book that I want to make sure that people get. It's called Method Writing. It's by Jack Grapes. And I had the same thing when it's like we just learn how to do the swing and feel it.
Yeah.
Like the tennis shot. We get so clear what we're doing and having fun doing it and noticing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
We're actually, I can't even actually believe this. We're actually coming to the end of this podcast and I don't want it to. But so Lucy, I really want people to find your art because it is stunning. There is such a simplicity. It's just a simple beauty and playful. Where do they find you?
I have my website, lucysheffieldart.co.uk. So you can find all of that on there. All my art's on there in my shop. I do have an Etsy store as well, but I don't know the link off the top of my head. But I can,
okay, well, send that to me and we'll make sure that's in the bio so that people get all this.
If anyone's on Facebook, I have a Facebook group called I Love Lucy's Art. And I spend a lot of my time in there. If you'd like to follow me, you can join my group. That's cool. Yes.
Cool. Great. Thank you.